Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. This is Canadian Retro. I've got another pickups video for you here. I've been a little bit away from the YouTube scene for a little bit here just because I haven't had a whole lot of time, to tell you the honest truth. You can tell from behind me there's nothing really in the backdrop here anymore because everything's been packed away, and my game shelves, if you see my room tour, are completely empty basically at this point from what you saw before. So I packed all that stuff up, I put it in storage. I'm going to be moving probably sometime in February, so that stuff's got to sort of stick around in storage for a while until I'm ready to move. And I was getting this place ready, and we've sold our house, but of course, like I said, we're not moving out until February. We've sold this place, but the thing is, I didn't want to leave my game collection down here for anyone just to walk through and kind of use it as their personal ATM of games kind of thing, where they just walk up and take whatever they want. So I didn't really trust that for the general population, for open houses, things of that nature. I really didn't want to leave my stuff out, so I packed it all up, and so that's in storage right now. That being said, though, I still haven't found a few things out in the wild, and I actually found some things here that were lying around my house when I was sort of doing like my cleanup kind of ritual here, getting everything ready for sale. I actually found games I didn't even know I had lying in a stack of basically burnt CDs and things like that were sitting in like one of those little tower kind of deals. So I found a whole bunch of Dreamcast games, which is kind of nice. The first thing here is not a game though, it's just a demo disc. So this one here is January of 2000, and then there's February 2001 volume 11, and December of 2000 volume 9, so another demo disc. This must have came from like PlayStation magazine, Dreamcast magazine. September 2000 volume 7, so I don't even know really what's on these. I don't remember getting these or where they came from, but it's kind of interesting. May of 2000 volume 5, so that's pretty cool right there. And then this is the generator disc that has like demos on it. I believe that came with the system. Moving on from there, we also have the web browser, which completely useless I think at this point. Got a copy of NFL 2K, so that's kind of interesting. Got a copy of World Series Baseball 2K1. I don't know where these games like how I missed these in my stacks or whatever, but I did somehow. South Park Chef's Love Shack. Shadow Man. Don't know a whole lot about that title. I'm gonna have to look into that one after I post this video. Rippin' Riders. Toy Commander. And Air Force Delta, which is I think the copy I got my dad way back when he originally got his Dreamcast. He wanted one, interestingly enough, so I went out and I picked him up a system, and I think that was one of the games that I got with it, just so that he could play it, because he was sort of into airplane kind of stuff back then, so that was kind of it. And then Ready to Rumble Boxing, which I really enjoy that game. And then probably the best one in the lot here is Soul Calibur. So pretty nice. You don't really find Dreamcast games, and to find them when you didn't even know you had them was pretty interesting too. I don't know how they end up in a stack of CDs, but always wise before you go to donate something to look through, because you never know what you're gonna find. That being said, let's get into my regular kind of pickups here. These are from the thrift shop. So one thing I picked up here was the power connector rather for an N64, and a rumble pack for it, or not rumble pack, sorry, jumper pack. I'm having a hard time today. Jumper pack for it. These came together in a baggie with like an HDMI cord and a couple other things, and it ended up being like $3.99 for this, which is really nice, because when you find systems, sometimes they don't have these things, so it's good to be able to have some backups of those kind of things. Moving on another day at a Value Village, I found these two items. One was a red Xbox controller. One of the buttons here, not buttons, oh my goodness, one of the joysticks here has a little bit of a chunk out of it, but I have little covers I usually put on those anyways. Gives you a little more reach with them or whatever, and a little more comfy and a little more grippy, so I usually cover those anyway, so that'll be fine. Something rattling around inside, but I think something's just kind of slid into here. It doesn't sound like anything like controller based rattling around in there, but the contacts are for the for the batteries totally fine on it. So that was a pretty decent find, and I didn't really have that color yet, so kind of neat to be able to find that. And then also an Xbox 360 PC wireless gaming receiver. So you plug this into your computer and you're able to connect an Xbox 360 controller to your computer, which is kind of sweet for playing games. And it comes with like the driver disc and everything like that, and that was only $5. So I thought that was a pretty good score as well. Talking about controllers, I also picked up a Wii Motion Plus pink controller. I don't know if that's the actual name of this or if it has some weird like Nintendo Rose or whatever kind of name to it. But yeah, so I picked this up. This was a pretty good score as well, just because I like the Wii Motion Plus built in with that big chunky thing that goes on the bottom. You have to put the whole like rigmarole around it and or whatever. It's just kind of a pain, but nice to find one built in. And this would be probably the third one that I've come across, in my time of hunting and that kind of thing, and one of them is like a Mario edition one, so I still have that in the box. So it's nice to have this, and I have another black one, so now I have a couple Wii Remotes that are Wii Motion Plus that I can use. And then also found a GameCube controller, which is really sweet. This one here was $6, and so was the Wii Motion one as well, but this was $6 as well, and in excellent shape. Sometimes I see GameCube controllers, but they're usually there and they're all beat up and like this part's chewed off or whatever. This one's in pretty excellent shape. Once I clean it up, I think it'll be pretty decent. And always nice to find GameCube controllers out there in the wild, that's for sure. Moving on, I get into some games here, so this is pretty good. Found a Vita game, which I've never seen a Vita game out in the wild, or if I have, it just hasn't really been worth picking up. This one was, though. It's Need for Speed Most Wanted on the Vita, and pretty surprising that thing's out on the shelf, because you can see how small that card is, and my thrift shops are kind of known for their thieves a little bit, but pretty surprising. I must have got there right when it came out, because it would have been gone, I'm pretty sure of it, if it sat there for very long. So really nice find right there, and my first Vita game that I'm adding into the collection, so pretty decent find. Moving on from there, I also picked up Day of Reckoning 2. This is on a different day. I picked up this and another GameCube game. Pretty sweet find right there, and I don't believe I had this one in my collection already. I'd have to double check, but of course I don't have my collection with me. I could check my app, I guess, but this one's in pretty excellent shape, so I thought that was a pretty good deal for $5, and if I have this already, I'll just get the best of two worlds kind of thing going on with it. And then one I know I did not have in my collection is Donkey Konga 2, and I got this at the same time as the other one that I just showed you there, but this one here is actually sealed, so it's never been opened, which is really kind of nice. So brand new GameCube game for $5 with mascot-y Nintendo branded kind of thing. Absolutely worth it, and I believe I have the first one, so this game I did not have already. It's nice to find it brand new. The last game I'm going to show you here is something that I picked up at the Durham Video Game Convention, which I went to on October the 29th, I believe that was when that happened. But that convention was pretty interesting. A lot of the usual suspects there. There were quite a few vendor tables. Pretty decent event. The venue was probably a little bit small for the number of people in there, though, because it was basically shoulder to shoulder walking, and it was hard really to get around too much, so I didn't stick it out the whole time, but still a good show nonetheless, and some deals to be had. And I found one game that I have been after for a very long time, and I finally found a vendor that was willing to sort of wheel and deal on it a little bit. And I was happy to be able to make this deal, and the game that I picked up is Intelligent Cube. And the way that I got this was the vendor I was talking to had this on their table. They actually had two copies of it. One was in rough shape compared to this one. They had two copies of this. When I was speaking to him about it, I said I'd be willing to do trades, and he kind of gave me like a really good deal with it, essentially, just the way that it worked out. Now, I traded way more in games for this than this is worth, but when you look at it, I actually bought all those things thrifting, so basically I calculated I probably spent about $25 on the games that I traded in, and he gave me about 65% value of those games kind of thing, which equated to just over the price of this one. So he gave me $10 back at the same time. So basically I spent, if you look at it out of pocket, I basically spent about $15 on this game, and I would buy this game for $15 any day, all day long. I finally found someone that was willing to trade for it, and absolutely a phenomenal deal as far as I'm concerned. It's totally complete. The disc itself has been resurfaced and still needs a little bit of a cleaning on the front because there's some sticker residue, but I'm an expert at cleaning up these things, so that's not a big deal for me. Yeah, like I said, though, it has been resurfaced. You can kind of see the resurfacing lines on it. At the same time, you know, if it works, I'm a happy camper because this is a game I've been after from the beginning, kind of thing of collecting. I've really been on the search for this one and could not find it for a decent deal, or slash somebody was willing to trade for it, and finally found a really good trade for it. So happy to add this into the collection. I played this back in the day. Kind of came with the first demo disc my brother had when he got his original PlayStation. I played those first couple levels on the demo disc to death, and then later on when I was renting games like in university and stuff, when I was renting it, I played this game quite a bit. I rent it quite a bit and really enjoyed it, and so happy to add it in now because it's becoming a little harder to find out there in the wild. So really nice addition to the collection. And that's everything I got for you this time around. So thanks again for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Feel free to thumbs up this video, comment down below, and I will see you all later.